morning, everyone. I'm Sandro Valentino, an architect from Malta, and I'll be talking about the Ħal-Caprat Care Village, which is located on the island of Malta, just south of Sicily. Very small island, 27 kilometers long by about 14 kilometers wide, and more specifically in the village of Zebuc, so towards the center of the island. Zebuc means olive in Maltese. So the project is a care facility for people with dementia and for the elderly. Dementia has now become the 7th greatest killer amongst diseases worldwide. So how do we design for this illness? How do we design for people with dementia? So a very basic brief. We needed to provide residences, and we needed to provide daycare facilities, intensive care, and respite facilities. So that's the position of the site, the red circle on the left, in relation to the village square on the right. So that's where the church is. It's a 5-minute walk from the church, and it's right on the periphery of the historical part of Zebuc. So the question became, how does the location of this site, together with our design, how can it encourage interactions between different people? How can we integrate this demographic within society? So interactions in large groups. This is the village square in Zebuc. Smaller groups at the band club. Intergenerationally, so young and old together. Different groups of people outside. Interactions one-on-one between people. And how do we design for the individual? This is Guido in his bedroom. So starting from the room, always having a view out, even if it's a view of your neighbor, so encouraging interaction between people across their balconies. A lot of these people are very lonely. So a room with a view out and a recess at the entrance of the room. So creating a small space where people could interact directly with their neighbor one-on-one. A bit like these women are doing in the street in Malta. So these women are out here every day, rain or shine, even when they were doing up the street. So 2 rooms with a porch, parapet in Maltese. So organizing clusters of these rooms and porches around our site and linking them with an alley, so SA in Maltese. An alley which is always a continuous loop, so even if someone walks off and goes wandering, he always ends up in the same place. A bit like this. The alley is punctuated by small open spaces, small piazzas, small piazzettas, which are flooded with light, where people can walk with their carer, meet other residents, meet their relatives, with a view of an open space outside. So the alley starts and ends always at a landmark, a monument in Maltese. This landmark is a means of wayfinding and a means of orientation for the resident with dementia. In the local village, this is Zebuc, it's usually the social club or the band club in the center of town. In our case, we identified an old building on site, which is an old loggia. This is a photo of the winery, which is what the site used to be previously used for. So that's the building, that's the loggia. So finding ways as to how we can alter it, extend it, and restore its use. So that of a loggia, transitional space, which overlooks an open space at the center of the site. So these are the views out of this loggia. Behind the loggia, we positioned the social club, or casino in Maltese. So there would be 1 per floor, where about 20 residents could gather to meet, to cook, to eat, to discuss things, to play games. 1 per floor. So this is the floor plan of the project. It's not a very big project. That is the casino, the social club on every level, the alley, the piazzettas, and going down in the development, it becomes a little more dense, a little more insulated. down to the ground floor where there is the reception area beneath the social clubs. And that's the ground floor plan. That's the big loggia you can identify to the very thick walls. So that's the reception. And a central open space which is linked to the street, Talgrazia Street, through this kind of mini boulevard of small local shops. So these shops are designed to serve the residents of Ħal-Caprat, but also the community of Zebuċ. Spaces where residents could spend time, they could even work together with their carers. This is Alfred at his flower shop, for example, in the town. So this space, which is hatched in green, will be a public open space. So this is where there is the most kind of interaction between the residents of Ħal-Caprat and the residents of Zebuċ. And this is a bit the climax of the project. So this is where everyone kind of meets. This is the courtyard in the building, which is designed to be like a little piazza with the loggia building, the historical building, as its backdrop. This is the building in section. It kind of steps up as it climbs up. Which brings us to the central theme of the project, a kind of microcosm of a village within a village, which is redefining healthcare, especially for people with dementia all over Europe. These are different examples of dementia villages, which have proven to be very successful. Which was also very interesting for us, specifically because the name, Ħal-Caprat, which is the existing name of the site, means the ruins of an ancient village. So this related very well to our concept and also to the residents who will be living there. So, to the town of Zebuċ. So this is a recap of what I just said. So that's the site in relation to the church. We have 365 of them in Malta. So we studied a bit the physiognomy of the traditional local village, which is generally a bunch of cubic volumes organized around a central focal point or a church with little alleys which go between the buildings. And we tried to reference this in our project. So we didn't want to create kind of a big block, but we wanted to stagger it and step it and create these volumes which also provide shade onto the courtyard below. So stepping back, staggering the volumes, creating open space for the dementia residents to use. We also studied in a bit of detail the local vernacular architecture, so shapes and forms you'd find in the village. So from windows, shapes of windows, niches for statues, doorways, cornices, light and shade. And we tried to find ways as to how we could reinterpret these in a more contemporary manner in the shape of the apertures, also because people with dementia are known to recognize shapes as a means of wayfinding and not signs. So someone could recognize their room as the one with the diamond, the one with the arch, the one with the oval, and so on. We extended this idea out to the facade of the building, where we changed the material to stone, and we rendered the ground floor in this traditional pigmented terracotta plaster. So here we're seeing the loggia, which we've designed at ground floor, which is designed to funnel people from the community into the site. This is the facade in its context. We wanted the building not to seem very institutional, so we split up its length into smaller kind of houses by stepping the proportion of the facade so it resembles a house and not an institutional building. This is it seen from the street. And this is a recap of what I've just spoken about. So the square, the piazza at the center of the mini village, of the village within a village, surrounded by houses. This is the entry point again. So one entry and exit point where people working in the shops, the elderly, the carers, provide a natural sense of surveillance of who's coming in and out of the development. Thank you.